from a Jet fan, how does that make you feel? I know you're like, oh, I wonder how they got there, the easy path, but how did you feel yesterday with the first result with New England going back to another Super Bowl with a different version of what people are starting to say it could be the beginning stages of another dynasty?
As long as Mahomes is there, there's one dynasty in the AFC. Let's just keep that full seat. Like in all
Okay.
seriousness, they didn't have to play Lamar Jackson. They didn't have to play the Cincinnati Bengals with Burrow. They didn't even have to play Josh Allen, who has a fake dynasty of his own. They didn't have to play any of the big whales. It makes no sense to me.
All right, but how did that make you feel?
Yeah, it makes me feel like absolute. And I'll bleep that out. I'm sorry. I'm in the heat of like I don't know what to say. Like it makes me feel awful because it was so easy for them. I saw them. I saw their dead body. I saw it, Sal. It doesn't make any sense.
Are you more mad from a Jets fan perspective that Darnold's in the Super Bowl or that New England's in the Super Bowl?
Not at all. I'm so happy for Darnold. Then somebody pulled up a tweet from when they asked him, Darnold, do you want to stay here? And he said, I'd love to be a Jet for life, but that's out of my hands now. I think a lot of us are going to get clowned today. A lot of us are going to be stopped in the street with our Jet stuff on as I wear my Jet shirt right now. And we're going to be told to think a certain way. To my fellow Jet fan who watches this show, don't think the way they want you to think. Be happy for Darnold. He never did us any wrong. We hired the wrong coach for him. He was throwing to Jamison Crowder. He was throwing to who was the quarterback? Terrell Pryor. It's not. Yes, we ruined Darnold, but we don't have to feel bad about it. We can feel good for him. We can vicariously live through Sam Darnold.
Yeah, plus he seems like a good dude, so I could understand that part of it. I guess my issue is though it's not just well Darnold never did us wrong. It's that it's a reminder. It's like rubbing your face in the if your dog has an accident inside and
Mhm.
you have to rub his face in it, I guess, because they say you don't want to, that's how you teach him not to do it again. We never had to do that, but I've seen people do that and I've heard about that. It's like rubbing the Jet fan's face in it, like you made the mistake of letting this guy go. Forget even about drafting him or not having the right coach. Joe Douglas took over. He had a decision to make. He could have kept Sam Darnold on and not draft Zach Wilson. And instead, he chose to draft Zach Wilson and make him the guy and not Sam Darnold. And almost immediately after that, Darnold went to the Panthers and had some kind of success and was building his career back up. He wasn't great, but you could see that maybe there were some signs there. And then obviously he goes to Minnesota. I forget, maybe San Francisco in between as well. But it built himself up to the point where he led a team to a Super Bowl. This is not a fluke. This is not a Brad Johnson situation where a great defense is carrying him. They're good. They've got weapons, but Sam Darnold played his ass off yesterday. He's had a terrific season. He's the one who led them to the Super Bowl. So it's just a reminder of how inept your franchise is many times over, that you actually trade up for the right guy. You draft the right guy. You couldn't develop him. The new guy comes over. He decided not to keep him. Here we are a few years later, and he's in the quarterback, and he's in the Super Bowl as the quarterback in the Super Bowl, and the Jets are on the outside looking in, facing New England, no less.
Can I ask you after Carolina? Because now the Jet fan in me has to defend some of the things you said. Not from the Jets. Well, I guess I am defending the Jets a little bit. Sal, after he went to Carolina, who are the two coaches he had?
Yeah, well,
After
Shanahan with San Francisco, right?
and
You talk about O'Connell with
yes,
Minnesota?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
Sam Darnold isn't Sam Darnold right now if he didn't have those two opportunities to learn and get better. So that's another thing people are they're gonna leave out of the
All right,
whole
but
Jets
then,
poopy Jets thing.
okay, yeah, but then Douglas could have kept him and
hmm
brought in
hmm
an offensive guy. Like, how stupid can you
I
be?
was prepared for this. I was prepared for this. In 2019, that was the year where they had to hire their next coach, right? Because of Todd Bowles. 2019. Would you like to hear the list of coaches that got hired that year?
By the way, Bowles has had success in Tampa with Baker Mayfield.
Yes.
So it's not just like, well, he took over a team with Tom Brady. No, he's had success with. So it's not Todd Bowles' fault either.
hmm
That's
hmm
Sam.
hmm
Okay, good.
Who are Bowles' two guys that he's had for Baker, though?
What do you mean? The offensive guys?
Yes, yes.
Well,
There's two
Liam
guys that
Cohen
have found
obviously
success in
won.
there. Liam Cohen
Yeah,
and Dave Canales.
yeah.
Dave Canales, who's taken Bryce Young, who's looked like an
Yep. Okay.
absolute
Okay.
Boston. Now he's turned him
All
around.
right, but that's my point. Hire an offensive coordinator. Okay, so go ahead.
No, you're right. You're right. I'm not necessarily juxtaposed to that. I want to read these names real quick for you. Arizona that year hired Cliff Kingsbury, which he didn't work out as a quarterback for Darnold. Who knows? Maybe that would have helped. Zach Taylor's an absolute goof. I wouldn't have hired him. Freddie Kitchens was awful. Vic
Oh, hold on. You
Fangio's
can't just brush over it. Zach Taylor's an absolute goof. Like, where are we going
yeah,
at?
because Joe Burrow's a once in a lifetime talent, and so is
He took
Jamar.
him to a Super Bowl. And offensively, their team is legit.
Would that have worked just as good though as Adam Gase?
You just can't brush over it, Badabooms. You have to at least give him credit. Because, oh, Zach Taylor, I wouldn't have hired him. Okay, you wouldn't have hired him. He took a team to a Super Bowl.
All right, all right. I don't even know what position I'm taking here. If I'm taking the clown the Jet
Yeah.
position, I'm reading over the names. And then we'll get to the big one who the Jets hired. The Packers. So maybe I am anti-Jet in this front. The Packers hired Matt LaFleur. The Dolphins hired Brian Flores. The Bucks hired Bruce Arians. Were left without a job in this class was Mike McCarthy, and the Jets hired Adam Gase. So that decision right there, hiring Adam Gase was the nail in the coffin for Sam Darnold.
Right. Yeah.
As a
Okay.
Jet.
I can understand that. And that was Peyton Manning's doing. Well, my point is that that's the Jets organization.
Peyton
Instead
Manning's
of picking
doing.
any of those. Well, okay.
That's right. No, he called Woody. He said, hire this guy. Hire my coffee boy.
However they got there, that's how they got there.
Yes.
And Douglas had a chance to fix that.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that Gase wasn't the guy, they still could have kept Sam Darnold and said, no, I think there's something here. He saw Zach Wilson and Robert Saleh. Like that was a disaster. Again, I would not, myself, based on what I saw, would not have bet on Sam Darnold. Also, we're not factoring in the New York factor as well. Like we didn't discuss that. Once you're that bad here, do you think Jet fans really would have had the patience to have Sam Darnold succeed here? I don't think that would have been the case. They were ready to move on from everything that happened before. Okay, give us the new shiny toy. Zach Wilson was going to be the guy. He was obviously a disaster. So I don't think it would have worked out with Darnold. I'm just saying in an alternate universe, it could have, because Darnold is in the Super Bowl. That's not some fake made-up stuff.
Yes,
Sam Darnold, yeah, he's quarterbacking the Super Bowl. I mean, that's it.
As I remember, Saleh was a big Darnold guy. I remember that was their first head-to-head. I think I don't want to misquote anybody, but Connor Hughes or Connor Rogers once said, I could pull it up for you if you want me to cite it, that Saleh was a big Darnold guy and Douglas wanted to just clear house and restart.
What do you think? So based on your worst case scenario for the Jets prediction, which is what led us to Seattle and New England, what do you think is now worst case? Obviously, we have 2 weeks to talk about this game. We're not going to do it every episode for the next 2 weeks, but off the heels of the championship Sunday, what would be your worst case scenario for the Super Bowl from a Jet fan perspective?
Is it what mine and the rest of the Jet fans, or is it what the media is going to tell us? Because the media is going to tell us it's two different things. The media is going to tell us one thing, and the Jet fan's going to believe one thing.
Well, explain that, because that makes no sense to me.
Well, the media is going to want the Jet fan to think that, oh, the Jets are stupid, and the Jet fan's even stupider for continuing to root for them. So the fact that Sam Darnold won the Super Bowl makes you all look like idiots, especially that you're rooting for him. But deep down, seeing New England hoist this will be 7, right? This will be their 7th Super Bowl championship. Yeah, because Brady has 7. That means they have 6. 6.
I got you. Yeah.
Besides the point there. As a Jet
Can you explain
fan,
what that means, Badabooms? Because you're 22. What does
67?
6'7" mean? Yeah.
So a long time ago, the Ball family had a vlog series on Facebook. It was like all like Ball in or whatever.
Yeah.
And LaMelo Ball they asked him a question. He was like 6'7". And then they brought it back to life because there were these kids who were watching a basketball game. And they turned the camera after the guy hit a 3. And there was some little kid going like this, yelling 6'7". So that's really it. It just got exacerbated to this point.
You know, I've asked a lot of people about what that means over the last several months when it was a thing. Nobody explained it as well as you just explained it right there. So it shows you I wasn't talking to a 22-year-old. But okay,
Well,
anyway.
that's good. I didn't even get that. Oh, sorry, my bad.
No. It was a good job with. I had no idea that had to do with LaMelo or which ball was it?
It was LaMelo. It was Melo. Do you
LaMelo,
listen to any Jello? Have you ever heard any Jello?
No.
He's a rapper now.
Is he still playing basketball or no?
No, he's a rapper now. He's just Jello. You never heard Tweaker?
No.
I might
What the
swear,
hell is
bend
this
that
stuff?
corner. Whoa. You never heard that?
No. So wait, Lamar Ball.
Lamar.
Who's the father?
The father is LeVar, and you know he got one of his legs amputated recently?
No, what happened?
I don't know, but he's a one leg guy now. LeVar, one leg.
So LeVar Ball was the father who started it. He got one.
He was a Jet too, yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, he played for the Jets.
Okay, then it was LaMelo. He's still in the NBA?
No, Lonzo was the first ball.
Oh, Lonzo. I'm sorry, Lonzo. Is he still in the NBA?
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah.
And then it was LaMelo.
Well, then
Or
technically it was LeAngelo, but LeAngelo didn't make it to the leagues. He played overseas.
okay, and
Yeah,
he's the rapper now.
he is a rapper now, correct?
And then it's LaMelo.
Then
You're
it
up on the
is.
Ball family.
Growing up, that was huge in the cultural zeitgeist. The Ball family. That was like just a
Okay.
big thing. Because
Yeah,
they had
no,
the
I mean,
shirts.
I remember from afar, I was like, I hate this guy, just in your face, annoying. But it worked out. He got a son in the NBA or sons in the NBA.
He successfully breeded three, uh, well, two basketball players and a successful rapper now.
He's like a successful rapper.
He's got three bangers. Can you please that one?
You listen to them? Like, have you downloaded them or no?
Download. Does anybody download anymore?
Well, I don't know. How does it? Well, you don't buy it, do you?
No,
Like,
I go
where do
on
you listen?
Spotify. I go on
Okay.
YouTube. Primarily Spotify. I pay for it, so I'll use it. But they have
Okay,
yeah.
so you don't have to right. You don't have to download. It's not like you have to download it to your iTunes now. Like I do the same thing. I don't download, I guess, either. I have Apple Music. I use
You're an
Apple
Apple
Music.
Music guy?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm an Apple everything else, so why not have Apple Music? And then
No,
I
I'm a
just,
Spotify guy. I could tell you I'm a Spotify guy too if you want to know.
why?
Oh, back in the day if you wanted to listen to the music on the Xbox parties, this is why I
Yeah,
changed over. You could only do it on Spotify, so then, it just carried with me the rest of my life. Were you an Xbox guy or PlayStation guy?
no more PlayStation than Xbox.
Mhm.
But I go way like to me, PlayStation 2 was the last system I had. You probably don't even
Wow.
remember that. Were you? Yeah.
No, no,
What was your
I didn't play the 2. The 3 was
what
my
was your
first.
first system?
The first system I got
PlayStation.
actually was a Wii.
Okay, I remember
Yeah.
Wii. You remember NES?
I'm aware of it. Like, my dad had the
Okay.
Sega Genesis. I know that's not the same, but it's the
Yeah.
same era, right?
How old your dad? Can we say?
Yeah, he's 52. He just started up the fucking snowblower. Can you hear it? Am I gonna have to go on mute?
Oh no, 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 no. I didn't hear it.
All right, good.
52. So like I'm not 52, but I guess I'm almost old enough to be your dad.
How old's BT?
BT, I think he is 52, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
He's
Because
around
my
that.
dad's a huge Mattingly mark. Like, that's his guy. Like, he will go to death
Yeah,
fighting for Don Mattingly.
yeah. I mean, that sounds like BT, obviously.
Yeah, well,
Anyway,
BT's
all
not
right.
my
So
father. Let me clear that up here. I'm not a nepo baby.
BT comes on. He gives an unkillable rant, and he gives you the "I am your father" Badabooms. Stop walking around work like a loser.
Like a
All right.
loser. Yeah, no.
All right. So you were saying about the Jets media painting a picture negatively with the Jets, but the
Yeah.
reality is that the Patriots having success is going to hurt you more than the ineptitude of the Jets being reminded that you had a franchise quarterback, you just let him go and couldn't
Yeah, I
develop
don't.
him.
But Sal, you are, and I mean, now you're my partner, and I feel like it's getting to the point where we have a little bit of a friendship here. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, friendship, sure.
You are, or at least are at one point, one of the media heads that I had to worry about here, and trying to leak to the Jet fan and to the New York sport fan this brain dead narrative of, oh, you should be more mad at Darnold than the past. Like, this is something that I
I
feel like
would
you would have
be.
taken. Exactly.
I
Exactly.
would be more not at Darnold, at the Jets
Yes.
because they had the franchise quarterback
Mm-hmm.
and couldn't develop him properly.
I agree with that.
That to me is worse than some other team, whoever it may be, having success on their own. I know you hate the Patriots
Yes.
more than everybody else, but it is worse for an organization and more embarrassing for an organization. I'm not saying you can't root for Darnold. I too will root for Darnold over the hated New England Patriots. And I totally think that every Jet fan understand that should be rooting for Darnold against New England. However, the more embarrassing thing than the Patriots winning another Super Bowl, the more embarrassing thing is having Sam Darnold, the guy you drafted and believed he was going to be the guy, win a Super Bowl with, or even go to a Super Bowl with another organization after you failed to develop him the right way. That to me is more embarrassing.
You know what's really embarrassing?
What?
The Jets acquiring a Hall of Fame quarterback, having a top 3 defense in the league. Their cornerback saying they have a defense as good as the '85 Bears. Me personally, me and my little brother taking the trip out to MetLife Stadium, tailgating, waiting 3 hours, walking down to the stadium, watching pregame warm-ups, going back to our seat. The Jets get one of the best, loudest defensive stops of all time. I've never heard MetLife that loud in my life besides this last summer, but that's besides the point. And then Aaron Rodgers walks out on the field, Sal. Ready for this?
Yeah,
He gives the
but he got
handoff to
hurt.
Breece Hall. He gives the handoff to Breece Hall. Breece Hall takes it about 27 yards. takes a snap, Leonard Floyd, you know what happens? That's embarrassing, Sal.
No,
That's
why? Why he
embarrassing.
got hurt? That's
That's
not
embarrassing.
embarrassing. I will
There's more
disagree.
embarrassing things than Darnold winning a Super Bowl. That's more
No,
embarrassing.
no, he got hurt. I think Darnold getting to a Super Bowl is more of an indictment of the ineptitude of the Jets organization than Aaron Rodgers getting hurt. The embarrassing part about the Rodgers thing is that the Jets were in a predicament where they had to go chase a 40-year-old quarterback and hope that he was going to revitalize the franchise. Not that he got hurt. People get hurt. That happens. The fact that they had to go chase an older quarterback, and I thought it was the right move too. Unfortunately, he got hurt, and then the rest is obviously even more embarrassing. But I think the most embarrassing thing, as a matter of fact, I'll say, forget the Jets. In general, in the NFL, I think the most embarrassing thing that you could possibly have as a franchise is if you draft a guy who you believe can be a franchise-changing quarterback and you fail to develop him properly, he goes somewhere else and gets to a Super Bowl. That has to be the worst because it's the most important thing you could do in the NFL, find the franchise quarterback. They freaking found it. How many years is it? Since Joe Namath, blah, 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 blah. Look at all these quarterbacks who've sucked every which one that have come in here and haven't been able to get the job done. Give me the quarterback who played for the Jets, like was drafted by the Jets and has played in the Super Bowl. Where are those guys? Sam Darnold is one. I mean, is it the only one? Is Sam Darnold legitimately
Testaverde never played in the Super Bowl, right? Well, they didn't draft him, but that's besides the point.
I'm talking about drafted by the Jets. Give me the quarterback. Now, I could be wrong on this. Give me the quarterback who was drafted by the Jets and played in a Super Bowl.
Well, it's going to be Sam Darnold.
That's my point. You drafted the right guy. He obviously has the potential and the ability to get to a Super Bowl because he's now done it. You drafted the right guy. And yet he did it with Now, look, other teams passed on Darnold along the way. And I do think your point, Badabooms, earlier was a good one in that, maybe without the coaching of Shanahan with the Niners, maybe without the coaching of Kevin O'Connell, we don't see this. Even O'Connell and the Vikings gave up on Sam Darnold a year ago.
That's a good point.
Seattle,
that's a good point.
But it doesn't make them right. They should be embarrassed as well.
Why aren't they in a spot right now? Sorry, Sal. I didn't mean to run you off the tracks here. Why is nobody talking about the Vikings here? They went with this J.J. McCarthy.
Because we don't give a shit about the Vikings.
Oh, there you go.
We're talking about the Jets.
There you go.
This is a New York podcast.
They were 3 wins away from the Super Bowl. Yeah, but I mean, I'm looking at the national media right now. Yesterday, these two teams have set their date for the Super Bowl, and everybody's talking about the football team behind me, the one that I wear, the one that I represent. Isn't that insane? How the story of the Super Bowl is about a team who's taking second overall? Isn't that ridiculous?
That bothers you.
It does bother me a little bit, but
it should bother you. It's an embarrassment.
It is an embarrassment.
The Jets can't get out of their own way. They are the most embarrassing franchise in sports right now. And it's been like that for a long time. So come on here with this. I do think it is the worst thing that you could possibly do. Draft a quarterback, fail to develop that quarterback, and then see another organization develop that quarterback and him take them to the Super Bowl. That is a clear indictment on the Jets, which brings us back full circle just to wrap this up. That is what's worse to me for the Jets. Not that they should be rooting, Jet fans should be rooting for New England because you can't. Nobody would ever root for New England to win another Super Bowl, but that is the bigger indictment on the Jets. The fact that Sam Darnold is in the Super Bowl, a guy that they believed in, their prior GM drafted him, and they failed to put him in a position to succeed, failed to develop him, and somebody else did and is now reaping the benefits. That has to sting more so than Rodgers, more so than whatever, Bowles or whatever it may be. Rex Ryan, Mangini, all the bad history, that Testaverde and Parcells in 98, whatever, getting hurt the year after that. This has to sting more than that because it is the highest level of ineptitude. Finding your guy, actually picking the right guy, just not being able to develop him or maximize his potential.
I know this isn't the Talk Jet podcast, Sal.
But it's also not a two-man show, Badabooms.
Well, I'm not going to say that, but I think you get where I'm going with this. I think that even like lost in a lot of this, you talked about how they had to trade up and all that, and they found the guy, whatever. I think the sin itself, this is just an offshoot topic. The haul that they traded for Darnold, how were they ever supposed to build around him? How are they ever supposed to create something there when they gave up all the assets that they had around? But I guess I'm going getting my stuff in. I'm going down a rabbit hole. I see what you're saying, but my message to the Jet fan who's probably not going to listen to me because of who is Badabooms at the end of the day. But I want to echo this sentiment to every Jet fan that I talk to over the next 2 weeks. Don't let people like Sal Licata tell you what to think. New England is the big bad evil. They're the bully, they're the wolf, and they tripped and fell into another Super Bowl. Root for Darnold. Darnold didn't do us wrong. It makes Woody Johnson and the Jets look stupid. They're the
you're not
ones who put us in peril. Don't root for the New England Patriots.
you're again not listening to what I said. I never once said don't root for Darnold. I never once said that. Are your headphones working? I never said that.
I am listening to you, but the spin, what you're saying is how is what's more embarrassing, is it not?
It's already embarrassing that it's the most
Yeah,
embarrassing
exactly.
thing that he's in the Super Bowl. I understand
It's already
you have
embarrassing
to,
enough.
you have to root for Darnold to win this. You have to because you can't root for New England. So I'm
Mhm.
not saying, and I don't ever tell anybody who to root for. I mean, I can tell you what I think. That's all I do. But obviously, all Jet fans are going to be rooting against New England. I'm rooting against New England, and I never even used to hate them. I hate them now. I can't stand. I used to like Cardi B. I don't like her. Vrabel. I mean,
Can you
Vrabel
sing a Cardi
has
B song for us?
no. I mean, I know some, but no.
What's one that you like?
Um, um, I forget the name of it. Didn't she do one with Megan Thee Stallion?
Yeah, you like Megan Thee Stallion?
Yeah, oh, I love Megan Thee
No,
Stallion.
me too.
Love Megan Thee Stallion. I love her much more than I do Cardi B.
You know who
Anyway,
she's dating right now?
yeah, Clay Thompson.
Yeah.
Hey, come on, I'm up on that, Badabooms.
White Boy of the Year.
Anyway, my thing was never, and thank you for checking in there, Badabooms. We'll get back to you in a little bit. I mean, you took over half the show. Oh no, it was a good back and forth series, and I did want to get Badabooms' perspective because he's a diehard Jet fan. So he gives a perspective that I don't necessarily have. I understand New York and I understand the Jets, but I didn't grow up a diehard Jet fan. I'm not telling Jet fans that they can't root for Sam Darnold in this Super Bowl. What I'm saying is that's the bigger embarrassment. Obviously, you're all going to be rooting against New England. I would 100% root against New England. We can't have the. I don't want to see the Patriots win, whether it's Cardi B, whether it's Diggs, Vrabel. Although what I will say is Vrabel, I don't want to say earn my respect because what the hell does he care about that? But it was a different level of getting to know Vrabel outside of watching him with the Titans all those years and just fall short. I always thought he was a good coach, not a great coach. Plus, with Vrabel, and this is where I underestimated the Patriots a little bit. Whereas you look at Sean Payton, you look at Andy Reid, two great coaches, two of the greats all time, and they're not alone. McVay, same thing. They're calling the plays. They're front and center. They've got a total command of the team. Also, they're calling the plays. Vrabel is just a traditional head coach. He's more of a defensive guy. So for me, I always felt that it was lacking there with the offense. What I failed to understand is one of my favorites, Josh McDaniels, a guy who I loved as a head coaching candidate. I know he was a disaster both with Denver initially, then again with the Raiders. He's probably not going to get a third chance, but he's an elite offensive coordinator. So what I forgot was that Vrabel can be the leader of men, the leader of the organization, the front and center head coach, and let other guys do their jobs on that staff and obviously on the team. And he's a great head coach, but also have an elite offensive coordinator. So he doesn't need to be calling the plays with the play sheet in front of him to be a difference maker when you have Josh McDaniels on the sideline. And that was a big thing yesterday as well. So I understand, though, that this is not appealing for the Jet fans with the Super Bowl. I understand that this is as bad as it gets, watching the hated Patriots take on a guy that you drafted, couldn't develop, and now he's doing it with someone else. I would never say which one to root for. What I'm saying is I think that the ultimate embarrassment or the ultimate sign of ineptitude in the NFL for your franchise is the fact that you picked the right guy, but you couldn't even develop him. He goes on elsewhere. You let him go to have success to the level where he at least gets his team to a Super Bowl. That's bad enough. Even if he wins it, it's not going to be, ha ha, Jets, you suck. The fact that Darnold is in a Super Bowl, it already exposes the ineptitude, which we all know anyway. I mean, we all know it. We all talk about it, how inept the Jets are. This just puts the cherry on top. I'm not a big cherry guy. Maybe it puts the sprinkles on top.